Hey guys, I'm just here. I'm going to do a help session on the article, Should Girls Be Allowed to Play Football? Okay, I am going to walk you through it, and I'm going to share my screen. Maybe, we'll see. Okay, all right, so here we are. Make sure you read the article. As always, make sure you read the article before you watch this video. I'm not going to read the whole article for you because then the video would be too long and it would be boring. So I'm just going to walk you through the main parts of the article. Okay. So should girls be allowed to play high school football? So the beginning here, it's important to read just like what's in the first box, just a good test taking strategy, because oftentimes what the questions are going to ask you later on can be answered honestly. Like this gives you a hint as to the correct answer. So in many American high schools, girls are prevented from playing high school football, which has been traditionally thought of as a sport for boys. Some people believe this is unfair, while others disagree. In this 2013 article by journalist Josh Bean, locals in an Alabama community put forth their opinions on this debate. As you read, take notes on how the author addresses the debate. So keyword debate, all right? This article is not necessarily girls should be allowed to play high school football. Josh Bean is just addressing both sides, okay? That's the whole point of this article, is that he's going to show you both sides of the argument, okay? He's not sharing one side or the other, okay? So he talks about three high schools: Morgan Academy in Selma, St. Clair County in Odenville, and Lehigh in Huntsville. That's where I went. Go Generals. And they have girls handling place kicks and extra points in the season. So then they talk about in each one of these. Now these are important facts for later. You're going to have to write a paragraph and you're going to have to include textual evidence. This is good stuff right here. If you are for girls playing football and you want to write about why, right here, these next 3 paragraphs have statistics about these girls who are like doing well in football. Which, Lehigh, obviously, they always do well in football because we're amazing. So AL.com readers this summer appeared torn on the issue of whether girls should be allowed to play tackle football. More than 2,000 votes were cast in a poll saying, should girls be allowed to play tackle football? And 44.31% voted no, and 44.05% voted yes with no restrictions. So it's almost half and half. Now, what I think is cool about this article is like I got this from like a national school website. So they're using our state and specifically our region to talk about like all across the nation should girls be able to play. And y'all know in Alabama, we love our football. So, proud to represent. So the problem is 12-year-old in Georgia, she's kicked off the team, right? Because they're like, oh, inappropriate, girls and boys playing football, locker room stuff. I don't know. So that could be an argument for against why girls should play. Maybe girls should have their own football team, boys should have their own football team. Or maybe girls should stick to volleyball and boys should stick to football. It's whatever you want to argue about in your question and when you have to write your paragraph. Okay, so towards the end, all right, this is important, towards the end of the article, important to notice, but does the recent success of Rutherford, Colson, and Harrell and their acceptance by their male teammates make a difference? And in all 3 Alabama cases this season, the girls clearly fill a void because the teams lacked a consistent kicker. Alabama, we always lack a kicker. Am I right? Am I right? Does that matter? And is the high school football, oh goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, goodness gracious. Here we go. And is high school football different than other age groups when it comes to allowing girls to play? Or is there a reason to prevent this gender-bending activity? It's important to notice nowhere in this article does he say girls should be allowed to play football or girls shouldn't be allowed to play football. The whole point of it is he's just giving you statistics for both sides, right? So it's important. The last bit here, he asks rhetorical questions, like questions for you to kind of think of but not answer out loud, right? Does it matter? Does it matter that the girls fill a void because the teams lacked a consistent kicker? Is there a reason to prevent this gender bending activity, right? Does it all matter? Okay, so let's get started on the assignment. So number 1, what is the central idea of the article? Remember, central idea means like, what is this article all about? Like, what is he really doing here? Is he saying, I think girls should play football because, you know, it's 2020? No, he's saying, what do you think? Like, people on both sides have different opinions on this, okay? So check it out. High school football is intense and boys are better suited to play it. Girls are better suited to be kickers than boys when playing football. You know, this year at Alabama, University of Alabama, probably. Tackle football is too dangerous for either boys or girls to play, or many people can't decide if girls should be allowed to play football. So obviously this one is the correct answer, right? All of these are opinions, and this is the central idea. This is what the article is all about, okay? He didn't state an opinion. Josh Bean did not state an opinion. He's just giving you both sides. Number 2, which of the following quotes best supports the main idea that people cannot decide if girls should be allowed to play football? Colston, Harrell, and Rutherford continued the legacy of female kickers in Alabama. Laverne, Toad, Wise, Albert kicked for Escambia County High. So that doesn't really have to do with people can't decide. That's just a fact about a girl being a kicker. At least three schools in Alabama have girls handling place kicks and extra points this season. It kind of does the same thing. Morgan Academy's Lauren Rutherford made her first career goal. Same thing. These are all facts. And then more than 2,000 votes were cast in a poll asking, should girls be allowed to play tackle football? So this one is correct, right? Because this one is like the main idea. People can't decide. And they asked, should girls be allowed to play tackle football? Because people can't decide. How does paragraph 5 contribute to the central idea of the text? The central idea being people can't decide if girls should play football. It shows that people are almost equally decide, or sorry, let's go to paragraph 5, my bad. Just passionate about football, y'all know. Y'all know this. Okay. All right. Passionate about football because we will be watching it this year. All right. So right here, paragraph 5. But AL.com readers this summer appeared torn on the issue of whether girls should be allowed to play tackle football. More than 2,000 votes were cast in a poll asking, should girls be allowed to play tackle football? And 44.31% voted no, and 44.05% voted yes. Look, 44 and 44 with like just a little bit in between of people being like, I don't know, why not soccer? I don't know, right? So almost half and half voted no and yes, okay? So it shows that people are almost equally divided on girls playing high school football. That's the correct answer right there, right? Half and half. Some people say no, some people say yes. Okay, so what do the last 2 paragraphs reveal about the author's purpose of the article? In other words, now that you've read the article and you know the point of the article, why did the author write those last 2 paragraphs? Okay, so look at the last 2 paragraphs. Remember, we were talking about the last 2 paragraphs are like, does it matter, right? He's asking you, he's giving you both sides, and he's asking you, what do you think, does it matter? Okay, so the answer for this one is the author's purpose is to show both sides of the debate on whether or not girls should be allowed to play football. Let me make sure I didn't put any typos in there because that would be embarrassing because this is on YouTube. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. The last 2 paragraphs are to open the dialogue up to the reader. He is asking, oh my gosh, asking you to decide what you think by using rhetorical questions. Okay, that's a good answer, okay? That's a good answer. The point is, I will give you a point if you say, the point is that he doesn't know, and he's asking you, what do you think? So number 5, that being said, what do you think? You think girls should play or not, okay? So here's what I want, 7 sentences. The first sentence is your thesis. Do you believe girls should be able to play or not? Okay. I was going to give you my opinion, and then I was like, nah, because I don't want you to like copy me and then think that like I'm going to mark it off if you have a different opinion. Honestly, it goes both ways, right? I see it in both sides, right? Obviously, Lehigh is doing well because they've got good kickers, right? This girl is a good kicker, so if helping them win and it's equal for both girls and boys, then that's fine. But on the other hand, I also know I've taught a ton of students who have gotten like not brain injuries, they've gotten concussions, right? I taught a student who had 3 concussions just by 8th grade, right? That dude who's like, like 6 feet, a 6-foot 8th grader tackles that girl, it might hurt her, right? Maybe it should just be a girl's thing. Maybe it should just be powder puff. I see both sides of the argument. So your thesis is where you answer the question. Yes, I think girls should play, or no, I don't think girls should play. Then you give reason number 1. That's your next sentence. Then after that, I want you to like look in this article and copy and paste a sentence from this article, right? Make sure you use quotation marks. Then you go on to reason number 2, you do the same thing. Reason number 3, do the same thing. Every time you give a reason, point in the article and give me a sentence that backs up why you think girls should or shouldn't be allowed to play, okay? And if you can do that, then you are good, all right? This one's pretty easy, okay? Football, we all know it. We all love it, all right? You got this. I know you can make 100. Deuces.